I'm not going to run away, Stanley said. Good thinking, said Mr. Sir. Nobody runs away from here. We don't need a fence. Know why? Because we've got the only water for 100 miles. You want to run away? You'll be buzzard food in 3 days. Stanley could see some kids dressed in orange and carrying shovels dragging themselves toward the tent. You thirsty? asked Mr. Sir. Yes, Mr. Sir, Stanley said gravely. Well, you better get used to it. You're going to be thirsty for the next 18 months. There were 6 large gray tents, and each one had a black letter on it. A, B, C, D, E, O, F. The first 5 tents were for the campers. The counselor slept in F. Stanley was assigned to D tent. Mr. Pendanski was his counselor. My name is easy to remember, says Mr. Pendanski, as he shook his hands. Stanley just outside the tent. 3 easy words. Pendanski. Mr. Sir returned to the office. Mr. Pendanski was younger than Mr. Sir, and not really as scary looking. The top of his head was shaved so close it was almost bald, but his face was covered in thick curly black beard. His nose was badly sunburned. Mr. Sir isn't really so bad, said Mr. Pendanski. He's just been in a bad mood ever since he quit smoking. The person you've got to worry about is the warden. There's really only one rule at Camp Green Lake. Don't upset the warden. Stanley nodded, as if he understood. I want you to know, Stanley, I respect you, Mr. Pendanski said. I understand you've made some bad mistakes in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But everyone makes mistakes. You may have done some bad things, but that doesn't mean you are a bad kid. Stanley nodded. It seemed pointless to try and tell his counselor that he was innocent. He figured that everyone probably said that. He didn't want Mr. Pendanski to think he had a bad attitude. I'm going to help you turn your life around, said Mr. Pendanski. But you are going to have to help. Can I count on your help? Yes, sir, Stanley said. Mr. Pendanski said, Oh, good, and patted Stanley on the back. 2 boys, each carrying a shovel, were coming across the compound. Mr. Pendanski called to them, Rex, Alan, I want you to say hello to Stanley. He's the newest member of our team. The boys glanced wearily at Stanley. They were dripping with sweat, and their faces were so dirty that it took Stanley a moment to notice. One kid was white and the other black. What happened to Burfback? Asked the black kid. Louis is still in the hospital, says Mr. Pendanski. He won't be returning. He turned the boy to come shake Stanley's hand and introduce themselves, like gentlemen. Hi, the white kid grunted. That's Alan, said Mr. Pendanski.